Hello everybody.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to
Baking with Babies.
and happy All Souls Day. Feliz Día de los Muertos. We are going to be making, what are we making today?
Ginger cookies.
Ginger cookies for All
Mama?
Souls Day, or soul cakes. So we are outside and we have our ofrenda outside this year. So we've got our pumpkins decorated with Dia de los Muertos, and we've got marigolds from our garden. We've got some of the ginger cookies that we're going to be making, and we're celebrating all of our ancestors, all of those who have come before us as they've crossed over the veil. This is one of our favorite times of year with Halloween and Dia de los Muertos and All Souls Day. And we'll talk to you more about it in the kitchen, but we wanted to show you some of our ofrenda outside before it gets too chilly. So should they come follow us into the kitchen? Yeah, let's come follow us into the kitchen. We'll see you in just a second, everybody.
See you in just a second.
I didn't.
Love you.
Here we go. Love you too, but come on in.
Okay. Hello everybody. Hello everyone.
Hello everybody, hello everyone. Welcome into our kitchen. I know we introduced you outside, but we wanted to bring you into the kitchen. This is one of our favorite times of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Halloween and the fall. As you can see, we have loads of apples back here from apple picking over at where? Where do we get our apples?
Styers.
Styers. That's also where we get our pumpkins, our tiny, tiny pumpkins.
No.
Or huge, gigantic.
Galactic giant.
Exactly. And what do we do with that pumpkin?
I sit in it.
Liam sits in it. We still, since he was a baby, he's been sitting in those huge pumpkins, and they keep having to get bigger every single year. So we love Halloween. We love the fall outside. We've got some apple cider heating up. We've also, as you can see, we've been busy with lots of the insides of those pumpkins, all the seeds, and using it. I'm going to be using it for pumpkin pie and pumpkin soups and things like that. So we really, already taste testing.
Just one.
Just a little pinch.
Just one kernel.
One kernel. Oh my goodness. So we also do we love to bake this time of year, because what spices do we love and are really, really popular this time of year? What spices are we going to be using today? Some
Cinnamon and nutmeg.
Cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves. We love those all year round, but they kind of get popular this time of year. So All Souls Day, or Dia de los Muertos, is a wonderful celebration, if you're not familiar with it, where we celebrate Halloween. Comes from that same time of year and that same festival and celebration to celebrate family and friends who have already crossed over the veil, who have already died, and it's a time to celebrate them with things that they love to listen to, different foods that they love to eat, right, and do different things that they used to like to do. And so that's another reason why we really like this time of year. And one of my favorite traditions of all time was when I was about Liam's age and a little bit older. Do you remember where I used to go to school?
No.
St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Down at St. Peter's, we would start the day in our classrooms, and all of a sudden you'd start hearing the song "A Soul Cake," and all the kids would start, in the upper school would come around and holding hands, they would gather the children from the younger grades and bring them outside until everyone was outside, forming a big circle, weaving in and out. In and out, and we'd be singing this song until everybody in the whole school, all the teachers and all of the students were outside singing this song together. And on the way back in, what did they get? Come on, what did we get?
I don't know.
We would get a ginger cookie or a soul cake and a big hug from the headmistress and from the head of the upper school. And so it was one of my favorite traditions and favorite memories. And so we love this time of year so we can recreate some of that. And so we sing that song with our band Runa, and we like to make soul cakes, don't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what are we making today?
Soul cake.
Soul cakes, ginger cookies. And that's one of the kinds of soul cakes that we used to get. Don't put it over your chin. So we're going to get you started. This is our family recipe book, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Shall we show them? Come on around and let's show them our recipe for this. As you can see, or as we're about to show you, this starts, and we've got some extra recipes in here as we add on to it. Family recipes and traditions. And so we start it in order throughout the year. And as you can see, we like to start the year off right with our ginger cookies. This is one of our favorite recipes. This came from when my grandmother used to work at LaSalle College in the education department. And this was one of the staff. They put a recipe book together, and one of the staff shared this recipe. And you can hardly even read it in our recipe book. And not original recipe book anymore, so we put it into our family recipe book. And so if you like ginger cookies, I think these are going to become some of your favorite ginger cookies ever. They certainly are ours. So we're going to start you off. We're going to start with our dry ingredients, get them all mixed together, and then we'll start with our wet ones, right? All right, so let's see. We need 2 cups of sifted flour. Can you help me with our cups of sifted flour?
I've got it.
You've got it. So we've got our big tub of flour.
We've got a giant tub.
Mm-hmm. And we're using our Sturbridge pottery. We just went up to Old Sturbridge Village again a couple weeks ago for their Halloween festival. Phantoms by Firelight.
Real.
What's that?
Not a couple weeks.
Just a week. Okay, pour it in. That's 1. And 1 more. You may decide that you want to double, triple, or quadruple. Hang on, let's shake it off a little bit. Quadruple this recipe. But for today, we'll keep it simple. Quadruple, 4 times the recipe. But you actually get a lot of cookies out of just 1 time through this recipe. But they're wonderful for sharing. We shared these when we went trick-or-treating. We always bring treats to our neighbors too, don't we?
Yeah.
We've got a couple of our neighbors. It's one of their favorite cookies of all time. So we might have to bring some extra ones back to them, shall we?
Yep.
Okay. So we then need, can you tell me how many teaspoons of baking soda?
2.
2. So let's come on around. Let's put 2 teaspoons of baking soda in. Come on, bud. All right, ready? Can you help me out? Okay, make sure you have the measurement right. Shake it off. 1. And make sure we don't put too much. Yeah, good. All right. And then, can you tell me with the spices? Come here for a second. Come on around. How many of each of these guys do we need? So this is cinnamon, ginger, and cloves. No nutmeg in this one, but just cinnamon, ginger, and cloves. How many teaspoons of each?
1.
1. So 1 of each of them. That may sound like a lot, but you actually, if you like spicy ginger cookies, you can put a little bit extra and be generous with them. Yes, sir.
Mrs. Clay hasn't had spiced cookies in a while. She says thank you for making.
Oh, I'm so glad she liked them. So Liam brought a special surprise to his teachers this week too, and shared some extra cookies with them. We always like on Halloween, we always like to go and visit with our neighbors and not just go and get treats, but give treats too, right? It's one of our favorite things to do. All right, smell that one. Cloves. This one's cloves. I know. Ready?
It smells too good.
It smells too. So we need 1 teaspoon of each, but they.
Bad.
It smells strong. So actually, we love cloves. We put them in pomanders. Remember, with oranges. Okay, here we go. So our teaspoons don't fit in, so we're going to use half of a teaspoon. So we're going to use 2 of them. And like I said, you can be a little bit on the generous side. All right, there we go. So
what's our teaspoon?
The teaspoon right there. It's a little bit too big to fit in some of our spice containers. All right, which one do you want to do next, ginger or cinnamon?
This one.
So what's it start with?
Yeah.
What letter does ginger start with?
Ginger.
Ginger. Can you show me? Look. What letter?
G.
G. All right, so let's take the...
Why?
Because it makes it easier to measure it if it doesn't have the filter on it. All right, so here we go.
But the filter helps us.
To sprinkle it, but we don't want to sprinkle. Okay. made these earlier this week. We made sure we were
Can I
on the
do-
more conservative side with our spices, but
Can I do it myself?
you may, absolutely. Thank you for asking. But we'll be a little bit more generous because we like a little bit extra. And what's
me.
allow you? What's the last one that we need?
Cinnamon.
Is it one of our favorites?
Yes.
Probably my favorite one. Okay, so that's the quarter one.
Myself.
Well, we need the half one.
Do we need this one?
Mm-hmm.
Can
Right,
I
so
do it?
you may, and not. Ooh, that's a little too much. I like generous, but I like cinnamon, but you don't want to totally go overboard. Okay, so we need 2 of those. Okay, and then we need to shake a little bit off. There we go. Good job. All right, mix all of those up, please. And you can use spoons, you can use your hands, whichever you prefer, but just mix them up really, really well, or else you get one super, super spicy cookie, and the rest of them will be a little bland, so you want to make sure they're mixed up really, really nicely. And then it just sits there and makes the room smell nice while you're making the rest of the cookies. All of those spices. Nice job.
And remember to watch your cookies bake or they might burn.
Good advice. Thank you so much. We need to keep an eye on them. What did we realize about the oven, the stove today?
What?
For school, what's your assignment? To look for what? 3D
Shapes.
3D shapes, and what specifically?
Cube.
A cube. What did we realize?
They're the
that-
same things.
They are. And what did we realize that was a 3D cube?
The oven.
The oven. All right, so this is looking good. So once that's mixed together, you're gonna set it aside.
You're gonna let it look like flour again.
You are.
Where it's all mixed up.
And then
really white flour.
we are. So we're gonna set this aside for just a second, and we're going to mix our wet ingredients together. Okay, so we're gonna start with butter. Okay. Let's take the
Butter, butter, butter.
and we
butter
it's
down
good if it's
sweet.
softened. Here we go. It's good if it's softened ahead of time, whether you leave it out for a little while or you soften a little bit in the microwave.
Or do it or instead of leaving it a little bit in the microwave, leave it a really short time in the oven, okay?
In the oven, or even sometimes on top of the oven as the oven's heating up. I'll sometimes do that too. All right, want to mash that up for a minute, gently.
Mash it.
Mash it, mash it, mash it. So you're gonna not too loud, but they need to be able to hear your instructions.
Yeah, you should like pound it super fast with a spoon
Or press it down.
Yeah,
And try pressing it down.
with your hands if you want.
So you need 3 1/4 cups
You
of
can never use a mixer.
well, they can use a mixer. We like to do things by hand, don't we?
Yeah.
And with baking with babies or with kiddos, it's often fun to do things by hand as well.
I love the mixer too.
We do. In fairness, we like the mixer too. So you're gonna have 3/4 cup of butter or shortening, not too hard, or it's a stick and a half of butter, and then you're gonna add a cup of sugar. Okay. So
Thanks.
once you get it really,
Mama, can I?
you may have a small taste. Yeah. Small. No, that's all because we're gonna have molasses next. All right. Can you
I
get
want teeny.
one kernel? One kernel. Because trust us, you don't want to taste test too much while you're making them because you're going to want to have lots of them afterwards. And if you taste test too much during,
What's that big thing?
can you break that up? Woo! It's just sugar that's all clumped. Okay, so you get broken up. All right, so let's add this in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, excuse me. Can you break it up? There we go.
Crush it.
Right, scoot your hand for a second though, so I can make sure we've got the right amount. All right, are you helping me to mix this up or what? All right, so you're gonna mix them together. really well.
Can I do it?
You may.
And mix.
I'm gonna help. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Keep it.
I'm gonna be a fast electric mix.
Except the mixers have the things on the side. So tell them, what's the rule? Keep it in the
Ball.
Keep it in the bowl, folks.
Yes.
Occasionally, Liam has to remind me about that too. Occasionally, comes out of the bowl when I'm mixing as well, and I say, "Oh dear, Liam, can you help me?"
Electric mixer.
Do you want to tell everybody? That reminds me. All that spinning. Can you tell everybody what was your Halloween costume this year?
A plane.
A plane, because you
With
were.
an electric motor propeller.
Tell them.
An electric motor propeller.
Electric motor propeller. So Liam was an aviator.
Can you let me do a tornado?
I'd say probably not, because we want to keep everything in
An
the bowl.
electric mixer.
No, we're doing this
A
by hand.
slow one.
A very, very slow one. How's that? A very slow one.
Electric mixer.
That does not seem very slow. All right, it's time to add the molasses. Okay, so we need a 1/4 cup of the molasses. So here's a 1/4 cup. Do we love molasses?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes very yummy.
Is that a little hard? Other way, this way. There we go.
Super. Can you get one?
All right, so can you hold this? Hold the cup. You want to help me pour?
Yeah.
And we really, really like dark molasses. We like the rich color on it, and then also gives a really nice rich taste. We love honey in our house, don't we?
Yeah.
And we tend to like the honeys that are also have a darker flavor to them, a darker color to them because of how rich they are. And they're almost molasses-like sometimes in the honey that we get.
Is it time for the egg?
Almost. We have to mix the butter and the molasses and sugar up a little bit more all together before we put the egg in. So we'll get there in a second. Can you keep?
Drop the egg.
Oh no, thank you. You are one of the best egg crackers that I know. Can you continue mixing this up with me? And while you're doing that, maybe a little taste of molasses. The best part of baking with babies.
Tasting.
Tasting. We always say that at the end. It's come to our favorite part, the part where we get to
Eat.
eat it and taste it.
Uh,
Nice. I always like mixing the stuff with molasses up too.
Can you let me just
Yeah.
go through
All the different
it?
swirls and colors, huh?
Yeah. Coming through.
Whoa, coming through. Oh. Silly goose.
I mix.
Okay. All right, I think we're about ready for our egg. Okay.
Let's crack it.
Would you like to crack it? Go ahead. All right.
Okay.
So again, if you're baking with kiddos or with babies, this is
Look
a
how you
great
can
practice.
open it. Put your
Just like
thumb there.
Exactly. Perfect. Beautiful. Look at that, dude. So really, really gently. And just crack it. Put your thumbs in. Somebody's going to go wash his hands. And it just calls for 1 egg. So you mix that in really, really well. Unless you're doubling the recipe. Exactly. And as I said, this is a recipe that we always love to double, triple, or quadruple the amount. But it's a really, actually, it's one of those recipes that looks or kind of tastes like it should be much more complicated than it is. But it's only a few ingredients, and mix them all together. And you're going to wind up... once you mix everything together, you're going to wind up making them into just small balls of dough around the size of a walnut, and then rolling them in sugar and then placing them on your baking
There's a
sheet.
backup in the pipe.
I hope not.
There is.
Okay. All right, are we ready for our dry ingredients?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've mixed all of our wet ingredients together. We're gonna add our dry ingredients. Okay, mix them. This is one of our favorite bowls of all time. It came with a handle, and we had never really used a bowl with a handle before, and we will never go back again. We love them. Again, another one of the wonderful pieces of art that we've gotten from going up to Sturbridge over many, many years. We have lots of things with them. A couple of bowls. We've got some pitchers for lemonade, things like that. Yeah, if you've never been up there before, it's a wonderful place to visit. Sturbridge, Massachusetts, Old Sturbridge Village. And they also make some wonderful ginger cookies and chocolate chip cookies up there. But it's a recreated living history museum that shows life in New England, in the rural New England in the 1830s and 40s. And they have a wonderful, relatively new Halloween and fall event called Phantoms by Firelight, where you are able to visit the village in the evening, and they have lanterns and fire dancers and trapeze artists, and just really the whole spectacle, the whole evening is just really, really magical and a completely different experience than if you've gone there during the day before. All right, so let's see. Nice job, buddy. Could you get our baking trays out?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Look where we store our baking trays, right here.
Secret compartment. And once you get to this part, you can see some of the dry ingredients are still on the bottom. Here, buddy. You can come down here. We'll scooch these over. Thanks, dude. You can see some of the dry ingredients might need a little bit of help getting mixed in. At that point, I usually just kind of mix all of it, the rest of it together by hand. And if you've got kiddos who like to get their hands all smushed up, smushy, this is a great part of this recipe. Thank you, sir. So, thank you very much. So when you're putting the cookies on the trays, they do not need to be greased. There's enough butter in this recipe that they will be just fine. All right, so let me just wash my hands off and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so we're ready to start the next part of making cookies. And so you're gonna take, just like Liam is doing right now, you're gonna take just a little bit of the dough, about the size of the walnut, or if you want much bigger cookies, you can make it bigger. And then we've added some sugar to a bowl, just plain white sugar.
I would like a bit bigger.
You want one that's a bit bigger? No problem. All right, and you're gonna take that little ball of dough, drop it in, and roll it around until it's all coated. It almost looks like a little snowball, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just gonna place them on the cookie sheet like that. And so that's as simple as it is. You roll it up and you keep making lots of those.
Look how big.
Whoa, that's gigantic, enormous. We're gonna give it lots of space on its own, aren't we? And you're gonna preheat your oven to 350 degrees.
I've got an even bigger one.
I see. We don't want to make them too big though, okay?
No, we don't.
No, we don't want to make them too big. 1 or 2 bigger is okay. And so you just keep doing those until your cookie sheets are filled. And it's usually about 8 to 10 minutes, maybe 10 to 12, depending on your oven. Ours right now, we need one of the elements replaced. So we have our heat bumped up just a little bit. And on
bumped up a bit.
Bumped up a bit. And usually takes a little bit longer. But you want them to be a nice golden brown color, but just keep an eye on them. Because they're a little bit darker, it's sometimes hard to tell if they're getting a little bit overly browned. All right. Actually, we forgot some of the sugar with this. Okay, that one's a little bit too big. That one's a little bit too big, buddy.
Okay.
Let's break that up into a couple of them. Okay, we'll put them over here. But these, we'll leave these 2 over here, and we got to give them plenty of room. All right. Maybe if we put the big one right here. All right. So put them on this one. This one needs a whole lot more room. So to spread out, because they'll spread out once they're in the oven. Okay. All right. So we'll put this tray in the oven. See how we do with our gigantic cookie. you want to help me put it in? Do you want to help me put it in? Okay.
After I fill up out.
Yeah, we'll put the next one in a minute, but do you want to help me put this one in?
Sure.
Okay.
Carefully.
Okay. Very, very carefully. Okay, let's open the oven.
I've done this before, but it's been
Yeah, and we're
a
gonna
while.
come in here so that we're not directly in front of it. Yep. We'll put the tray in just like that, and I got the rest of it. Nice job. Okay. So, we will see you in a few minutes, folks. We'll see how we do. Good luck, everybody. So, see you in a minute.
See you in a minute. The bigger the cookie is, the more people that should eat it, or you should eat it over time.
It's good advice. Thank you so much. Very responsible. Thank you. How are they looking?
Great.
Great. Okay, well, let's open them up. Let's see. We're going to see how we're doing in here. Yeah, hang on one second. Wait for the ends, remember? Okay, hang on one second. Let's move this over here.
May I, Mama?
You may, and what we're going to do, we'll take one side of this. Okay, let's bring the door down, and we'll go to the side here. Okay.
How do you take it out?
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Both of our hands, the one down the bottom is the one that's been in the longest. So switch them up a couple times.
Wow.
Oh my, that's a big cookie. All right, let's put it down here. And we're going to close this up. Very, very good job. Okay, this is exceptionally hot, so stand back just for a second. Let me twist it.
Can I touch it?
Just a second. At the moment, it's too hot. So the middle part, just like always, will be very. So we've got this across the bottom or the back of the baking tray, so that protects our hands. And I'll hold this over here. Yeah, looking good. Okay, make
I
sure
really want to get the big one.
Well, we're gonna get the small ones first, just in case. We're gonna see if the big one needs any more time.
Why?
Well, sometimes when you make a cookie bigger, it takes a little bit longer to bake. So I'm gonna take the small cookies off first. I should technically have another baking sheet while I'm doing this. So let's go underneath. Hang on, I'm gonna flip it over for a second. So here, this isn't too hot. You can touch this here. You can feel it just gently. Watch your fingers on the tray. Feel gently. You can kind of get an idea. If it's too mushy, it means it hasn't cooked the whole way through. Okay, let me see.
It doesn't.
See how back here they're a little bit sturdier, but I think this is okay.
Mama, I would like a cookie. It doesn't feel too hot on my
I hear.
Mama, it's usually
Hang on. Move your hand back for a second.
hotter on my hand than it is to my mouth.
Sometimes. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Hang on one
That
second.
usually happens with me.
And let's.
It's usually hotter with my hand or fingers than it is with my mouth or tongue.
Okay. Can we check the next batch? So we've got to twist it around here. All right. Again, same thing. We open it up. Yeah.
But
Scooch
this
to the
time I
side.
will not touch the tray.
Hang on a second. I'm going to put it directly up here because we don't have the cooling tray over there. And we're going to close this up. Okay, hang on one second.
370 degrees.
Yeah, bumped it up just a little bit. I think these are doing okay.
Mama,
Okay.
may I have one?
Well, I think, have we gotten to our favorite part of the entire episode?
Yeah.
What's that?
Tasting.
Tasting. Do you want to taste the big one?
No.
No, we keep that for later. Okay. Let's see how we do.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, great. I think so. One of our favorites of all times. Yep. So we say Happy Halloween, Happy All Souls Day, everybody.
Happy Halloween, Happy Souls Day.
Happy Souls Day, everybody. We'll see you soon. Happy baking. Mwah.